Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the OCVarsity Gridiron Show, Week 3 edition already, Steve. That means we're a month into the season already. So if you haven't liked and subscribed any of our videos, support us here on this OCVarsity Gridiron adventure. Like and subscribe us on this channel on YouTube. Thank you, everybody. Welcome back. Steve, we're coming off a really exciting week with some national games, more big games. How you doing today?
Good. Hey, if this is week 3, that means it's the third week of football then, right?
It is not the third week, but I know where you're going with this.
It's the fourth week.
Yes, it's
So
fourth week.
why don't we call the first week 1?
We can't confuse the readers, but that is the way it
No, I'm
goes.
confused. If I'm
Okay.
confused, okay, I'm easily confused. Go ahead. Take it
All
away,
right.
Danny.
So week 3 is upon us here.
Yep.
Exciting Orange County high school football season. Let's start it out here with Friday night games. Foothill, 2-1 at Troy, 3-0. I was the lone guy this week that voted Troy into the top 25. You and Huntley did not concur with me on that, but I think this is a really good game. Especially I like this quarterback matchup. You got Gino Marchetti of Foothill, senior quarterback, 561 yards so far, 6 touchdowns, no picks. Troy, Rudy Akala has thrown for 630 yards, 8 touchdowns, no interceptions. So neither quarterback has thrown a pick. You got some good running backs in this game. You got you got a really good recruit here at Troy, tight end Vander Plug.
Yes.
This is a great game to kick off our week. Steve, who do you got in this one?
Vander Plug, 6'6", 225. And Dan, do you got 2 screens? Do you have 2 screens?
Yes, sir.
Do you? Because that'd be cool. I need to get that. I think you got that. Yeah, Vander Plug's really good. Rudy Alcala is the quarterback at Troy. He's really good. But you look at Troy's schedule, the teams that they've beaten are 2-6.
Yes.
Okay. Not totally impressed by that yet. I think they're pretty good and all that. And definitely, on my list of candidates when I put together my vote, they're always up there. But I think Foothill's playing a little bit better schedule. They're 2-1. Yeah, that one loss was a big one by 28 points. I think it was something like that to a very, very, very good Tustin team, which is one of the top 3 or 4 public school teams in the county. And they're running the ball really well over there at Foothill. And Nathan Govion is averaging, a lot of yards. As a team, they're running the ball pretty well, 200 yards a game. So I'm going with Foothill to grind it out.
All right, and I agree with you. This is the biggest game by far so far for the Troy Warriors.
Yes.
They haven't had the competition that Foothill has, but I'm going with the Warriors. The win at Fullerton, to go to 4-0, to break in the top 25. I think this is a pretty special team. You mentioned Nathan Govian, who is run for over 400 yards. Ethan Mundit, Troy, a junior running back. He's over 400 yards as well, coming off a good game. So I got Troy winning there. You got Foothill. Let's see how it goes. Hey, let's move on to another all-county matchup here out of the Capo Unified District. I always like these district games. I think they're good for attendance. They're good for local bragging rights and interest. And it works out pretty good for the rankings too sometimes. How about Aliso Niguel going to Capo Valley? And, this is an interesting game. The Wolverines, under Coach Callahan, doing some good things, have been improving steadily last couple of years. They're 3-0. Capo 2-1, coming off a close loss to Huntington Beach. Couple good offensive players in this one to watch. Jared Sable, who I know you're familiar with from baseball. He's a running back in football, running for Aliso Niguel. He's among the county leaders, already over 500 yards on the ground with 5 touchdowns. And, Capo's they have a guy that's trying to go both ways, which is really difficult at these positions. Riley Walker's playing running back and linebacker for Capo. Tough task to do. Who do you got in this one? Aliso, Capo, in the district rivalry game here.
Yeah. Jared Sable, the guy you're mentioning, a really good baseball player, catcher, committed to USC. His brother Blake went to USC and is now playing for the Giants. And I think there's like 3 or 4. I think there's been 3 Sables come out of that baseball program over there at Aliso. All pretty good ball players. I'm going to go with Capo in this game. Tommy Acosta, the quarterback over there. He's their leading rusher. He's obviously their leading passer too. He's a QB. I think he's yet to have a breakout game. And I think this is Tommy Acosta's breakout game. So I'd go with Capo in this game.
Yeah. Acosta's coming off a good game. I think he's been pretty steady this year.
Yeah.
Carter Vestermark has been a revelation at quarterback for Aliso. First year starter. He's doing a nice job. I like Capo in this one. I think this is going to be a tough game though. I am intrigued by Aliso with all their linemen back this year, their strong ground attack. I wonder about how they'll hang defensively in this one. So I got Capo winning a pretty close game. But I'm high on Aliso this year, and I think they're headed toward an excellent season. All right. Let's switch. Let's talk a little national, if we will now. Big game on Friday in Las Vegas is going to be Orange Lutheran, 3-0, playing the toughest schedule in the country, according to Max Preps, taking on Bishop Gorman. The Gales were just in Orange County. They just were ranked number 2 in the country by Max Preps. Then they lost soundly to Mater Dei, 31-15 last Friday night. So now Orange Lutheran's coming off a national win against St. Francis Academy of Maryland. They had to grind that one out, winning an up and down game where they made some big plays, a big goal line stand. Their defense is playing good. TJ Latif is making a lot of plays and hanging in there tough against this really great competition. This would be a big one for Orange Lutheran to get. I know we talked about this one earlier this week on the Blitz. Who do you got in this one, Mr. Fryer?
Man, this is a tough one. Okay. Latif is playing so well. That defense, Jeremiah and company, really good. Bishop Gorman, we saw him last week, Dan, and you'd mentioned this 2 or 3 times. You're sitting on my left elbow over there about, man, they're one-dimensional. Bishop Gorman, man, they're one-dimensional. Yeah, you can't hang with Mater Dei and be one-dimensional. That defense is too darn good. I think Gorman sees that. I think they're gonna open it up a little bit. They could throw it some. We saw the guys on the outside were pretty good. Maybe it spoke more to how good Mater Dei's pass rush is and how good they are in the back 4 on that defense over there at Mater Dei. So I kind of been going back and forth on this. I think, as much as I like Latif and Orange Lutheran and all that group. Hey, and by the way, if Lutheran wins, are the top 3 teams in the national rankings all Trinity League teams? Huh? Maybe. Man, there's Duncanville in there. There's Milton in there. Yeah, I've already heard from somebody about, no, that's not going to happen, pal. No, but we'll see. But anyway, I think Gorman gets it together and wins this game, Dan.
Okay.
I'd like to. It'd be really fun. We all like Rod Sherman and the way they do things at Olu, right? But I think Gorman puts it together and gets the W in this game.
All right, I am sticking with what I said on the Blitz. And that's Orange Lutheran, because I think the Lancers are physical enough, offensive and defensive lines, to match up with Gorman. Gorman had some big offensive linemen. I saw them in pregame. They are big. And both sides of the ball, they play physical. They play very hard. They're very aggressive. Yeah. They hit hard with Mater Dei. They were aggressive with Mater Dei in the physicality department. Orange Lutheran, they're stepping up into a road trip at a national scene, at a well-known, national destination, the Bishop Gorman Stadium, in the hills of the Las Vegas mountains. This is kind of a high school, landmark, the Bishop Gorman Stadium. It's going to be maybe intimidating for the Lancers, but I still think if they play a little bit cleaner than they did against St. Francis, they get the W, I think, because they aren't so one-dimensional. Bishop Gorman didn't get a first down by passing until the 4th quarter against Mater Dei. So I think the Lancers are going to go to 4-0. So now I don't know if they can go from 12th in the country all the way to 3, but they could break the top 10 with this one for sure. And all the Trinity League teams, Steve, I don't know if you saw this week, all ranked in the top 50 nationally by Max Preps. That's something else.
And they're a combined 16-1, those Trinity League teams.
16-1.
And it's not like they're playing, teams that they should blow out. This isn't like some of those college teams we see. And what are you doing playing Northwest Georgia Tech State, when you're number 2 in the nation, college football? Come on.
Yes, but how about did Northern Illinois beat Notre Dame, though?
Yeah, and how about Cal beating Auburn? Okay, so shut up, Fryer.
Hey, it happens out there. The new landscape, but I know.
Yeah, the White Sox are winning games. Not that many, but they're winning games.
All right, 2 more games. These are probably the games of the week, I think, for Orange County as far as games in the county.
Yeah.
This is the game that I'm going to be out on Friday. San Juan Hills, 2-1, taking on Crean Lutheran, 3-0. I think, the Saints of Crean Lutheran are on my radar. I feel like they've got some new additions. They're on the rise. I think they're knocking on the door for the top 10. This could get them in the top 10. I think if they are impressive and they win, it's going to be pretty hard because San Juan Hills, they got Timmy Herr at quarterback, who is a good passer and runner. He's already passed for 546 yards and 6 touchdowns. He hasn't run like he has been known to so far.
True.
Doesn't have a big running stats. They have a couple young receivers for San Juan Hills. But of course, and then on defense, they got one of the best linebackers in Orange County and UCLA commit Weston Port, who had 20 tackles last week in a tough game against Higley of Arizona, one of the top teams out of Arizona. So the thing is, Steve, is that, Crean Lutheran, they're playing their toughest schedule in school history. And it kind of starts in earnest here with San Juan Hills. They've been kind of dominating, but they're coming back with Caden Jones, who runs around and throws it well at quarterback for Crean Lutheran. They got Caleb Bay. I'm excited to see at running back, transfer from Mater Dei, and he was at Bosco before that. After that, over the summer, they've got some really good linemen this year. Everybody's said Crean Lutheran, they look good on O-line, D-line. They're physical with all these skill players. They got Carter Jones, Anthony Jones on defense. Who do you got in this one? San Juan Hills, Crean.
I really like what Crean's doing over there. They're averaging 175 rushing yards a game too, and Jones can throw it, right? So, but I'm going with I think Herr has a big game. I think Timmy gets it going, and I think San Juan Hills takes this game. They got wins over Oceanside. That's a pretty good team. The only loss was to Higley, which, if you look at the Cal Preps rankings, is easily, by a good margin, the toughest team on their schedule. And they only lost 25-20. So I like San Juan Hills in this game, Danny.
Okay. I'm picking Crean Lutheran to, they're at home, probably the biggest game in school history at home. If this game was at San Juan Hills, I might go the other way. I think it's going to be hard for them to run the ball, I think, at times with Weston Port back there.
Yes.
In San Juan Hills defense. They got some other guys, but I think Caden Jones is going to run around. And I think, I think they're going to be, Crean Lutheran's got the physicality to get the win. It's going to be a great game. I'm looking forward to covering it, and we'll see how it goes. And this is a game that you're going to be on. I think this is also the Bally's game of the week, SoCal game of the week, and it's a very good one, right? You got San Clemente 1-2 taking on Corona del Mar 2-1. Couple of OC stalwarts, couple Beach City teams, teams that do a lot of things, a lot of good fundamentals, that play really hard, well coached. They got some exciting players. Pretty good, interesting matchup at quarterback. You got the Tritons, Dawson Martinez, newcomer to the program, playing pretty well in his first year as the Triton starter, 658 yards passing, 5 touchdowns. And then you got, Corona del Mar, that's got a first-year starting senior quarterback as well, in Max Nished. So you got San Clemente, playing a pretty tough schedule. They lost to Torrey Pines, good team out of San Diego. They lost to Chaparral in a close game that went overtime. Corona del Mar is coming off a tight loss to Palos Verdes. They're very good. Who do you got in this game? It's going to be at Newport Harbor on Friday, game of the week. And I'm glad to see these two public schools, these beach city teams hooking up. I've covered this game before, and it's exciting to see them continue it going on.
Yeah, it's really a cool matchup.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing Dorset Stecker play for Corona del Mar. Get the ball in he's a get the ball in that guy's hands kind of football player for them.
Yeah.
I'm going with the San Clemente on this. You mentioned Martinez over there throwing the ball. He's got a really good target, Max Contoranta over there.
Yeah.
Who's also pretty good DB too when he lines up back there. But I think I like San Clemente in this game. Yeah, they're 1-2, but they played a couple tough teams, and San Clemente sometimes gets better as the season goes, right? And they figure out who goes where and what to do. And I like two really good coaches in this game as well, with Ortiz and company over at San Clemente, Hedig and company over at CDM. They didn't really lose much when the excellent Dan O'Shea moved over to San Margaret's, right? They kept it going. But I like San Clemente this game, really close game. Maybe it comes down to who's got the ball last time.
Yeah, it is. I'm going with Corona del Mar. I might be a victim of some recency bias, but I covered them against Cypress, and I was impressed with Corona del Mar's size. I thought they're pretty big on the lines, and of course they got their tight end Zach Giuliano, who's committed to Stanford. They got the Fresno committed tight end back now. You mentioned Dorset Stecker. I like some of their size, and if they can, if they got to play physical and play hard against the Tritons, but I think they do create some matchups issues with some of their size at certain positions, and I think it's going to be a great game. I seem to always be wrong when I pick against the Tritons, but here I go again already early in the season, picking Corona del Mar. I think playing that game against Palos Verdes pretty close. That's pretty good barometer. But I think the Tritons have been playing a good schedule too, and it's going to be an interesting game. I have noticed that San Clemente running back, or athlete, I should say, Lee Fuimoa, he's run the ball a little bit more the past 2 weeks. He didn't carry that much against Chaparral, but he's starting. They're trying to run the rock a little bit more at San Clemente. They got good secondary to cover some of these Corona del Mar receivers. So will be a great game you're going to see for us Friday, Steve.
You mentioned Corona del Mar is tight end and certainly that. Before we get a text message from Jaime Ortiz, some good tight ends that came out of that joint as well. Right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They are
Jaime would remind us. He would.
They got a few guys that have been doing well.
One town, one team, several tight ends. That's the hashtag.
Yeah, and quarterbacks. Sam Darnold had a great game for the Vikings.
Love seeing that with Sammy.
1-0 with the Vikings for Sam Darnold, former OC player of the year. Hey, so our record now, Steve, we're all tied up in our pickings, our picks this year in this young season. We're both 11-4. So we disagree this week on 3 games, which does not happen very often. We disagree on the Tritons and Sea Kings. We disagree on the Gales and Lancers, and we disagree on the Warriors and Knights. 3 games this week. We are just butting heads. It's going to be an exciting week.
Did we disagree on San Juan Hills-Crean? I picked San Juan Hills.
Okay, that's right. We differed on 4 of the 5 games.
This is awesome.
That is unbelievable. 4 of the 5. So the only game we agreed on, we both picked Capo Valley. So
wow,
that's pretty exciting. 4 disagreements. It's going to shuffle things up. I love it. We will not be tied, I doubt, when we come back next week.
Man, disagreeing with you, God, it's like we're married. We disagree so much,
Well, we are partners.
You are my second wife. I tell people that all the time.
We are we are football partners, and
yes,
we
sir.
are Gridiron partners.
Yes,
and,
sir.
I appreciate you jumping on, and thanks everybody for checking us out on OCVarsity, where we got you covered.
Love you, Dan.